Welcome back, everyone, to Cinema Boys. Your co-host Jacob Price, and with your other co-host
Devin Franklin.
And so today, well, not today, but yesterday.
Close enough, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But we went to watch another movie, and that movie's Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson, Stephen Yeun. Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
That's really the main actors I know. Just off the top of my head, anyways. This movie consists of actors you may know from like other movies and anything, but just not off the top of my head. I'm not like that. I can't just. Boop.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at it. I saw Brad Pitt's an executive producer.
Brad Pitt's an executive producer.
Yeah, I saw him in the.
And Naomi Ackie is also a main character in the movie.
Yeah, I saw him in the cast and crew, and I was like, I didn't know this Brad Pitt was in the movie. And then I was like, yeah, probably because he's producing it, not our executive producer. So, yeah.
So yeah, this was Bong Joon-ho's latest movie, which he is like overall celebrated. I really haven't watched his movies. I know that he made Parasite, which was a very beloved movie, which I also haven't watched. I watched Snowpiercer, which I really do enjoy that movie with Chris Evans. I don't know if you've seen that, Devin.
I've not.
It's basically just like the world's frozen over, and everyone who's alive is stuck on this one moving train that like moves forever.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, pretty good movie. I've seen a little bit of The Host with my parents, but I'm just coming to this with kind of like a fresh mind. I haven't watched his previous movies.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't either.
Yeah, so I can't really compare it to anything except, like I said, Snowpiercer. But I feel like anytime a director does movies, they're trying to do something different anyways. So you really can't compare it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's some producers or directors where you can kind of see similarities in their style.
Have their own,
but yeah.
Yeah. Cliche or whatever, but let's just jump right into the movie. So yeah, just to give like an overview of it, it's mainly just like about a person who gets copied multiple times, chooses to live this life to get away from something on Earth, and it's basically kind of that, a clone movie mixed in with an alien movie, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, let's just, like I said before, jump right into it. I mean, overall, I found myself very entertained by the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty entertained. I think it's just who I was. There's definitely this like 10-minute-ish period where I would kind of like, I zoned out of the movie, and then I came back in, and I was the rest of the movie. It is like, I think it was 2 hours, or it was close to it, I feel like. I don't exactly remember.
It was 2 hours and 17 minutes, so it was definitely over 2 hours.
So I think the first hour or so, I like was locked into it, and then I had like a 10-minute grace period where I was kind of like zoned out of the movie, and like I like came back into it. I don't think that was, I really think it was honestly just me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Now, like, seeing, like, a 2 hours, 17 minutes runtime.
It definitely didn't feel like
Yeah, that movie did not feel that long. Like, that's basically like an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like it kept me entertained and just invested in the movie at all times.
Yeah, I legitimately think it was just that I generally, like, kind of just, like, spaced out, and then I was, like, I just randomly got locked into the movie, I guess. I don't really know. But it wasn't like I was out of it the rest of the movie. It was probably like maybe not even 10 minutes. Like I was probably like kind of like dissociated from the movie for a second, and then like looked back into it, and then I feel like I didn't like no time passed, the movie's over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was like I was back into it.
And I don't blame you because like you're kind of like starting to get into movies.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like for a person getting into movies, definitely longer time is gonna be, you're gonna feel it more than the person that watches movies. Like I can watch some movies all day and every day and really not get burnt out of them. I guess that's just, I have no life, guys.
That's great.
Really it. That's it. But I really like the Mickey character. Actually, you know what? Robert Pattinson, I was gonna say like he's a good actor, but what I really like what he does in this is like how he portrays himself in two different ways with like Mickey 17 and Mickey 18.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing. Because I was like watching the movie, or like kind of like knowing the concept of the movie, I was like, well, if we're going to see two of them, how are we going to end up deciding, like knowing, other than they end up like marking them?
Yeah,
but
that's for like the movie character purposes. Though.
But I was just, I didn't know. At first, I'm like thinking like, how are we gonna, as viewers, gonna know the difference? But he had two pretty much different voices for the
different personalities,
and the two totally different personalities.
Yeah, Mickey 17 was like a whiny little one, and he was kind of more
really shy and stuff. Yeah, he was just like little kind of like a puppy, I guess. Like
I feel like Mickey 17 was more similar to the original Mickey 1 than Mickey 18 was.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Where he, really innocent and definitely was like kind of you wouldn't see in this kind of lifestyle or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like Mickey 18 just honestly he wasn't able to get like a normal life like the 16 ones before him did, because obviously Mickey 17 showed up out of the blue.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This one he was just like, oh, this friend basically ruined our lives. Kill him.
Yeah, he had no cares.
Yeah, when you've like, Mickey has been friends with this guy for however long now.
Yeah.
Like 4.5 years in
for
space,
sure, at least,
and then whatever before on Earth, and then
had to be a decent bit to be in the trouble they were in.
Yeah, he's just like, well, he screwed us over. Let's just kill him now. And then like he sees Mark Ruffalo do something stupid on the television. He's like, oh yeah, we gotta kill him.
I forgot exactly what it was. It was like,
yeah, I forget. I know it was like right when he showed off the meteorite.
Because it was like this. He's like, this intention. I don't know how language we're using on this podcast, but
it is my channel.
He used an intention. You know the word, the W word. I actually don't know how YouTube also reacts to that word. I don't know.
Oh yeah, true.
But
you get paid anything, but
but yeah, call him an intention with the word of following the word with a W. Yeah. You probably know what I'm talking about. All this, I forgot exactly what it was, but like Mickey 17 was the guy who kind of just like would take it, the slap on the wrist, and just keep taking it or whatever. Where 18, that's what I was trying to think of. But like 18 was like, nah, you're not gonna do that to me. All that stuff like that. And I'm trying to think what it was there, but exactly I don't know if it was like 18 was like, he's the one doing this to us, like with all the virus testing and all this other stuff. I feel like it's what it was. I know we're filming a day after watching it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know for sure there was a reason other than like something on the TV. I forgot what it was, but like Mickey said.
Oh, I know what it was. It was nothing from the TV. So basically, Mickey went to dinner the night before.
Oh, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, and then they experimented this new meat that they were like growing in labs, and then it ended up hurting him a lot.
Yeah,
and
like
he survived through that. And
almost died. Yeah.
Mickey 18.
He was like, because he was like, you were. Yeah, he's like, your shit. Like the direct quote was like, he was like, so you were like, oh, they're shitting your pants, and he's like, well, no, I was like,
throwing up.
He was like, I was like throwing up or whatever, and like, and then like Mickey 18's like, and you just like were like, oh, thanks for dinner. He was like, yeah. It was like, because, I guess Mickey 17 was also at the same time kind of fighting for his own life too, because he did at the time.
I'll be back.
The Mark Ruffalo character of Marsh, or what was his last name? Kenneth Marshall, I think is what his name was. Yeah, had the gun to his head and was about to shoot him because they tried this new painkiller as well. I forgot, Purple
Joe. I think it was called.
I think it was Purple Joe.
Yeah.
And they did it, and it worked for like maybe like 5 seconds, and he went straight to like back to the pain and like screaming. He got up and he's trying. So Kenneth has the gun to his head and is about to put him down, and he's like, no, I'm good, and he has to get helped out pretty much out of there, but he's toughing it as much as he can to get out of that room and still keep his own life.
So, like, that part of Mickey 17 is honestly like what makes one of the like parts about the movie like interesting to me, because I was talking to you about this before, obviously.
Yeah.
But like how Mickey 17 at first, he wasn't like he was scared of dying, but he knew he would come back.
Yeah.
With like the memories. But once Mickey 17 found out he was already cloned, he knew like if he died, that was it for him. Like the memories he was making, it would all be gone.
Nothing, and then it'd be kind of like wiped, and it'd just be this new guys where Mickey 18 didn't experience what happened whenever he supposedly was supposed to be dead when his friend left him. And so
I'm guessing like the deaths, obviously that's going to be like a tragic trauma event.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they just like those are parts like the death parts they just erase from their memories.
And then because I think what it said in the movie, it's like he has to do it every week where he has to re-download his brain or whatever, like
so
into the brick. It's quite literally a brick.
It's a brick of his memories. So like he can remember everything even after a clone dies.
So that was interesting. I mean,
I don't what they did with the Mickeys because like Mickey 18 also had an arc because like how he started out like we were talking about, he just wanted to kill.
Yeah.
But then he started like being emotional towards Mickey 17 because like how they're the same person and everything.
Yeah, he was like, oh well, yeah. He's like he kind of understood where Mickey 17 was at because I mean they also are legitimately the same person, but it's also like he's like so Mickey 18's case was all to stay alive was kind of also his realization of why Mickey 17 case also makes sense. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, Mickey 18 was like, well, you've gotten to live. I was created like 2 hours ago.
So,
and then he's like, I'm just beginning or whatever. And then he kind of realized, well, I don't know exactly what the difference between 16 and 17 was, like how long that had been. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think they really touched on that. Or
wasn't
his most recent one was probably
was 14, 15, and 16 though?
Was all the virus.
Yeah. Was 17 the first after the virus? Or was it 13, 14, 15?
I think it might have been 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
So I don't know what 16 was, and I don't know what... and maybe they did show it, but I might have been wrong.
The radiation. Was it not when he got his hand knocked off? No.
That was his first one.
Oh, okay.
In outer space.
That was his first one, okay.
But yeah, so maybe 16 was one of the virus ones, or it wasn't. But like I said, I don't know exactly how time was working either out there. Mm. So however long that Mickey 17 was alive, it was a couple weeks, I would say, at least for sure, where compared to 2 days, or 2 hours, I mean, where he was like, yeah, I've only worked 2 hours, but then he's also like, he'd have the realization because they had their own fight scene where they're going back and forth. Yeah. So that's when like Mickey 18 was like, damn, okay, I kind of understand.
That's what I mean. And then I feel like at the end of the movie, like Mickey 18 understood, like Mickey 17 was like the clone, like you know what I mean, like more of them.
Yeah.
Where like he said he was just born. Mm-hmm. So like why you just said like that's a reason to live, that could also be a reason for Mickey 17 to be the one that actually live.
For sure.
And I don't know. I also wonder what Mickey 18 would have been like if Mickey 17 never showed up. Would he have still just been that freaking psychopath?
Yeah, I feel like. I think one. Well, I know.
Because he literally just. Okay, well, I guess he saw Steven Yeun's Timo.
Yeah, he was already ready. He was already ready for it.
He was already ready to kill him.
And then, he still got what he was gonna do originally, with Kenneth Marshall.
The only reason he saw Timo sell drugs is because he was going to dump Mickey 17's body down the thing.
Once he saw that, he was like, I feel like there's already that hatred though too.
Yeah, for a little bit.
He was like, because he was more of this one is like the,
like when you
the vengeance seeker.
So basically, like when you're a person and you're just, let's say like you're angry or have a grudge against a friend and you just hold that thing back.
Yeah.
This like the cloning just didn't hold that back for him, so he was just not really like human emotional. It seemed to me he didn't have like the human.
It just seemed like this Mickey, like all the other Mickeys, kind of had everything in the back of the head. It's like like he knows that this stuff happened to him, but he just decided to kind of not acknowledge it in a sense. Yeah. And then where the Mickey 18 was kind of cloned, and then it seems like that was the front of his brain.
I also wonder, was this like the first Mickey not to blame himself for his mother's death? Because you know how Mickey 17, the whole thing in the movie was like, oh, I deserve this, that's why I'm going through it.
Yeah,
it
was karma because he said he tested on a frog, and then it was the bread button in the mom's car. So that one, I guess there's also the 16 other ones that we didn't really completely, well, the one we knew for sure, like 12, 13, 14, 15, or whatever the virus was, they all only lived like a day.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's another like span, like 3 through 5 was like another quick span, I feel like. I forgot what but I know they were like, they kind of gave us 3 and 5 or something like that, because
he's literally just a test dummy for them. Like,
yeah.
Before they go out to this new planet, of course they send Mickey to see if anything's wrong with it.
Yeah, and they're like, they kind of like turn him straight up, and he's still going like breathing all the air. It's like, breathe like there's like an unknown virus out there.
And even at the end of the movie, like, so they made this gas that could kill like creatures, and you see throughout the movie like the way they make sure this gas is like actually lethal. They test it on Mickey to make sure it kills him.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Which probably is where some of the other Mickeys went before.
Yeah. So, that's Mickey's. It's just a sad character overall. Like, where it's like
the emotional scene when Nasha, which is like Naomi Aki,
the love interest.
Yeah, the love interest is just in there cradling him as he's dying, and like no one else really gives two shits.
Yeah, he is not an actual person to anyone else.
Yeah, and then,
except for Nasha.
You even see like at the beginning they're like taking care of him coming out of the cloning machine, but then they just stop caring and let it.
Yeah, like fall. There was like at least 2. I'm trying to like think 2 or 3 for sure in the movie where it was like the dude's like on his headphones and like playing a level, and then like the scientist is in the lab and looks over and he's like, oh my gosh, as the top half is coming out.
Yeah.
And like slowly falling out. There is one that fully fell out.
Yeah, and then they just left him there.
And then because at first it was like on like a whole like revolving machine, and then it kind of goes to just. He was like, because one time he was like, I was on the last level or something like that. It was like literally what he was worried about, other than the actual Mickey himself coming out of the cloning thing.
So yeah, and like definitely, the thing that stands out to me is like, this would definitely happen in real life. Like people would definitely be this fucking stupid. Like I'm sorry, I know we just said we don't know what the cussing that just dropped, but it really makes me mad when they were like. Except Kai, which is like, we'll talk about her later.
Yeah.
But the Kai's the only person that didn't anger me when she asked this. But they always ask, how does it feel like to die?
Yeah, she like hers. You could felt genuine as well. Where it was like the one that really ticked me off, where I feel like would have made more sense if somehow the Mickey 18 had that memory, was whenever Mickey 17 was supposed to have died. He fell down this whole ice, like the ice cracked, and he fell down. And he was like, "How am I still alive?" He was even shocked, because it was a pretty big fall, and he was pretty fine for how big of a fall it was. I mean, the fact he pretty much got up and walked around.
After he got dragged by the aliens, he literally walked for good.
And then, so Timu, was the fighter or the jet pilot, and then
I don't think I know we said he was in the movie, but I didn't really make it clear. Timu is Stephen Yeun.
Yeah.
Mark Grayson.
And then so he goes the wire only came down like the little I don't know it's not a zip line I don't think, but like.
So what helicopters carry basically. Yeah,
and then
the Coast Guard has to save people.
It only went down to the first level. There was pretty much 2 levels, I guess, essentially. It probably could have, but he only got down to where the flamethrower was stuck at, and he's like, "Oh, it's practically new."
So I bet they'll be happy to see this.
Yeah, which we also found out was the drug.
Mm-hmm.
They used it they used the flamethrower power as a drug, but he was he grabs it. He's like, "Oh, this is practically new," and Mickey thinks he's gonna get saved as well, and then he's like, "Weapons is gonna love this," and then he's like, "Are you gonna get me?" He's like, "They're just gonna print you out again tomorrow." Or something like that. I forgot exactly what it was.
And then literally right before he leaves, he's like, "I got one question to ask you."
What's it like? He's like, yeah, and then he's like, and then they just kind of had a stare off or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
And he went back to the jet and flew off.
And also that was when I was like, okay, so I know Mickey 17's still a little wimp, but
yeah,
that scene specifically when they do fight Timu in the dumpster or whatever. Like
Yeah.
they have like a lava thing or to dispose
Yeah,
of
that
waste.
was
I feel like if I was Mickey 17, I would still be very
Yeah,
clear.
like he was like gonna leave.
Like-
You're trying to save him, and he was literally gonna leave you to die.
Like I know I get copied, but literally as Mickey said it, like in the beginning of the movie, like he's still scared every time he dies.
Yeah, he just is kind of like played it off in front of everybody else. Where like you can tell he's like kind of. I feel like this Mickey 17 is kind of just all of like his like fear into one person. Essentially, it's like where he still knows he's gonna be cloned. Yeah, cool or whatever, but he still technically feels all that pain of dying. It's not like he's just not feeling anything. He still is gonna feel it in his dying moments, and I think still kind of remembers it.
Yeah, that's why
and
he was like hoping he would get swallowed whole by the aliens.
Yeah, he was like, "Please swallow me up whole," and then he gets taken to like their little cave, and like the little babies started like kind of like crawling around him. He's like, "Oh great, he's like feeding the babies or whatever," and then thought all they were going to slowly eat him alive, and they just pushed him out.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't want him there.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's like I've been cloned so many times that I'm probably not good meat or whatever."
Yeah, the whole time he was like, "Oh, you know, they just didn't want me because I wasn't tasty enough."
Yeah.
Which Mark Ruffalo also said that when he told.
Yeah, at the end.
He tried explaining the aliens were good, but I feel like we kind of talked about mainly the best parts about it is obviously the Mickey side thing and Robert Pattinson's portrayals of the different Mickeys.
Yeah, outside of that, the really only good thing, I don't know if it's really, I don't know. I think one thing that was funny was like the aliens. I thought it was just not like the best part of the movie or whatever. I just thought it was like a good thing I wanted to note. Where I don't know where else I'd put it in at. But where the aliens bluffed.
Yeah.
Towards the end, where they're like, because they started like screeching or whatever, and they were telling Mickey 17 because they had like made a translator at this point, where they were like, yeah, you're like your brain's gonna explode, your whole head's gonna explode, your eyeballs are gonna explode or whatever. They were just like threatening them, and they just all start like screeching. It wasn't really like screech, but like they're doing like this like
it was a
battle
screech,
cry. Yeah, it was like screech. It was a battle cry thing, and then like Mickey 17 was like trying to get them to bring the baby back or whatever, and then towards the like the very like one of the like last scenes of the movie is like, were you guys being serious? And then like they kind of kept with a threat, and they're like, yeah. Then the baby tried to do it, and then like
nothing
happened at all.
They just started all laughing.
Yeah, like mention how not only humans bluff or something like that towards the end of the movie.
But yeah, that's really good. Didn't really talk about Nasha, but I feel like I'll talk
Nasha's
about her.
not a good.
I'll talk about her later. Yeah. So I mean, even though we will talk about what is like mixed and we didn't really like, before we go into that, I just really want to say like I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for sure too as well.
Even most movies where I enjoy, I get those like 15 minutes of like, why am I here? You know.
Yeah.
But this movie, I was just like, my eyes were locked on. Obviously, I always make my comments. Like if I'm watching The Devon, I make jokes during the movie. But that's just a me thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone does that though.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely said some here and there as well. Even on movies I've been locked in it.
Yeah, I feel like the only like movie I've been so like interested in, I didn't really say anything, was Avatar: The Way of Water.
I did ask
because that's like a different experience, and James Cameron's a freaking legend. But all right, let's get on to the next parts. All right, so now we are on to kind of mixed and
like the mid-ish,
to the bad, because I feel like we could just add everything up together.
Yeah,
because I would say the mixed is kind of part of the bad.
It's like
enough.
Not good enough to be good, and like I wouldn't completely make it like my worst part of the movie.
And do you have any real big thing, or do you want me to get on my big thing?
If I was like, I feel like just I don't know, like character wise, I feel like both Timu and Nasha were like just my big mixes. Yeah. I think Nasha had her moments, and Timu has a villain-esque kind of like character. I think works, but also like as like a character itself, as like I say, kind of like he's just kind of crowd person and stuff like that. Whereas like, and it's also like I feel like some of the ways they use them, it was kind of like nonsense and sometimes, and then Nasha was just like for some reason with Mickey 18 became a different person.
Yeah, that is what I was gonna say. Nasha throughout the movie, she does have her little rant or like dialogue at the end that I actually do like.
Yeah,
when she's talking to Mark Ruffalo and this is before she saves the baby, but like she's just yelling at him and he has to cut this cord and she basically has to chomp on it to save the baby.
Yeah.
So just to get her to stop talking because she was just going on about the alien. So this is also like, are we just talking about mixed? I'll talk about this later in bad, I guess. But Nasha throughout the movie, I don't know, it's probably just because she fell in love with Mickey. She's gonna love like all the like types of Mickey.
Yeah. And
I was thinking like maybe because like she's been living on the space station for 4.5 years. She's just needed a break. Like
something new.
Mickey 18 was that like new type of person or thing in her life.
Yeah.
Just mix things up. Which obviously I kind of get because I feel like eating those rations and that food all the time.
I get that. It just looked awful.
Yeah, food looked terrible. So I feel like I would definitely need the edge off. Take the edge off, especially if she hasn't done it before.
Yeah.
Obviously, I understand Mickey 17's opinion on it because it's illegal, and he does love her.
Yeah, and she's like a top officer as well.
Yeah, officer.
And because Kenneth, the Mark Ruffalo character, even adds on that before her dialogue or right after, I forget which one. I think it was right after he made her save the baby, where he was like, "You were one of the top agents, 5-time running agent of the year or something like that, like the tournament champion or something like that." He was like agent of the month, blah 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 blah. Goes her accolades, and he's then kind of craps on her or whatever. I was like, so she obviously was a pretty good officer and everything, and seemed pretty straight edge for all that stuff. I mean, they were kind of goofy, but I mean, I thought them drawing their new sex positions was
I
pretty
actually
goofy.
Put this character in the mixed because I feel like Nasha for me is just kind of towards the bad because she wasn't really there. They didn't really delve into how Nasha and Mickey got into this relationship. How are they so in love? We don't really get that part of it.
Yeah, we just kind of got them meeting and then immediately kind of going and banging on
banging
on the first day.
And it's funny because it was they were banging and then they jump to Mark Ruffalo talking about how he's thinking about banning all sexual activity. And then he's going in depth about how an average intercourse section is 100 calories and how precious calories are. And I was like, this is so awkward. It felt like I was in 5th grade over again, getting the talk or whatever, or watching those videos. It was a pretty funny, but they didn't really dive into that because in the movie Nasha's Mickey's mine.
Yeah, she's pretty defensive, but all we've seen really of them is them banging it out and then making sex positions
and then wanting to have a threesome.
Yeah.
That's really all we've seen of them. But no, the person I was going to talk about next is actually the Kai.
Yeah, I figured so. Once you said that, I remember.
I don't really know how to say this actress's name, so please forgive me. But she is played by Anna Marie Bartolome. I definitely butchered that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have no clue how to
say. Okay, but so she's a Kai.
Anna Maria, maybe?
Yeah. She gets less screen time than Nasha and Timo, Steven Yeun.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm going to I actually kind of like her a little bit more is because she's in the mix because I wanted her in the movie more.
Yeah, I
liked her character.
There's some characters for me to put them as a good with the screen time she had. They had to be really funny or in the moments or whatever, or super have insane moments. But for her, she was you could tell she would have been like a pretty decent main character as well if she had like the Nash level screen time or something like that. But she literally probably was honestly in the movie like if it was 2 hours, like probably 10 to like 15ish minutes, like somewhere around there. And it's just maybe not even
basically
10.
the only part of the movie she's actually in is the dinner scene. Cause like she's in the background. You see her in the background before, and then she sees both Mickeys, but that's all you really see of her. But what I was like, I really didn't like, because I really liked Kai. Like, even though they barely had her, I liked what they did with her. So basically, so Mickey is on this mission with people. Obviously, Mickey's expandable. They don't care if he dies. But on this mission, something goes accidentally wrong. Basically, it was her fault. But this girl shoots up at the ceiling and basically makes the ceiling collapse on herself because, she's in a cave. So basically, Mickey's getting yelled at by Mark Ruffalo's character, Kenna, because he was like, "How did this happen? We can replace
You're supposed to be the one who died, essentially.
You were supposed to be the one who
Which,
died.
there was honestly no way, because it was, I think her name was Jennifer or Jessica, I forget what.
Yeah, something like that.
I know it was like a J name. But, so, it was her and Kai, and they were a thing, I'm pretty sure it was those two. And they were like, because Kai was the first one to look at it, like, what is this? And they find they call them creepers.
Yeah, it's just
the aliens. But she's like, what is that? And sees like the little baby one that kind of doesn't attack. They think is attacking him, but we find out that they don't even want humans. It's just more of like.
So they're basically like puppy dogs. Like,
and they were trying to play.
Yeah,
they were trying to play, and then they just obviously took it as a threat. Where I don't think I'd be probably a little.
Did it even hurt? Obviously, I would be disturbed, but like, it didn't hurt.
And then they all freaked out. They shot at like kind of like their little like nook or like the little hole they had, and then like another one got out, it wasn't. Yeah, sorry. They're all walking away, and or like kind of running away from it. And they're like, oh my gosh, and they're about to go back to the ship, and then Jessica or Jennifer, whatever. I think it was Jessica. I don't know. But and they're not listing her name on. I was trying to look at the casting crew, and then she was like, she sees one like peek up at on the ceiling, and then it's all ice, and then she starts like unloading and she's going, and it's only for one of them too,
a baby too,
and then just like unloading it, and then they just like he already said, the ice just kind of comes down and like crushes her or whatever, and then which honestly I didn't know. This is when I found out that Mickey was the only expendable.
Oh, okay.
I kind of in my own like thought. For a second, all four of those guys were.
You know why I knew he was the expandable, the only one. Because when he signed up,
and they jumped at it.
They jumped at it. They even like the bitch even walked out to get him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like right away. Like you saw the lines of like thousands of
trying to be like whatever the other agents and
then they get
pilots and stuff like that,
and they jump on the gun.
Yeah, so I was like, I guess, but like in my mind, but there's like this is the last ship, so I was thinking like there could have been possibly other people's in the other ships. Obviously. So I was like. I kind of thought the way it was, because the whole movie, or up to that point, it was only Mickey doing missions like that. He was the one on the ship doing the weird stuff and like finding out what was happening to his viruses and like all these other things happening. Only him. So I thought with this new exploration, it made sense that it would only be expandables while he was out there. And then, so I kind of was like, oh, well then it might be all four expendable, but then she died, and then they made a big deal about it. But it was like it wasn't like he purposely made her die.
Obviously, they do send out like teams, because like we seen how Mickey 17 got a ride back to the base.
Yeah.
Like so, obviously they do send out teams, but like back to what I was saying. So obviously Devin said the girl that died was in a relationship. I'm pretty sure romantically.
I think they did kiss after that one lunch thing.
Even though she did flirt with Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but they definitely had a romance, or a relationship at least. So basically, in the dinner time, Kai's there as well, because a disturbing scene. Mark Ruffalo is just like, "You got the body to have pop out perfect babies. Basically.
Yeah, it's like
so. Obviously, she doesn't want to do that because she's like also an agent, like Nasha is, and so she doesn't like them experimenting on Mickey as well.
yeah,
She
it
just
without
has
even saying too.
She has those human emotions, so she helps Mickey 17, and then you realize that the girl that died was obviously important to her.
Yeah.
So you see how this like very emotional talk with Mickey, and then she's like, "Can you just tell me like how it is when you die?" Just because like she wants to know how her friend felt.
Yeah.
And how everything just went down. And then obviously that was very, very like romantic, so they almost kiss. But Mickey loves Nasha, which makes me so angry because I just like Kai, and this one emotional scene just made me like her so much better than Nasha. Because I don't think Nasha got really emotional scene like in this. I'll talk about like maybe an emotional scene, but it's in the bad, so I'll talk about that later. But I really did like Kai, and I wish she got more screen time.
It was kind of a shame that she didn't get as much, but I kind of 2 hours. I don't know. I feel like that all of that was almost kind of not necessary, but like it was essential. Like it was pretty big to the movie. Almost all of it. Like, it wasn't like you could have like. It was like we've already said, we were kind of invested the whole movie, so it wasn't like a time where I'd be like, you could have cut that out and like try to fit in more time, because it's like Mickey's movie, so it's also hard, but she definitely deserved somewhere else like some more time.
I feel like if you switched Nasha's character with Kai's character, like
actor wise,
no, just like character wise, like Kai is the one that
is in the love interest.
Yeah,
okay, that does make sense.
Yeah, I would have went with that because I think that just makes more sense to me. Because like, I mean, I know more about Kai and her feelings than I do really about Nasha.
Yeah, the only thing you really get from Nasha like
is sex.
Like she's just like a sex crave. Like it's like.
And then out of nowhere, she's like, "We need to save these aliens."
Yeah, then she randomly gets like kind of emotionally attached out of nowhere.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's part of the bad, especially the prison scene.
But I don't know if it's more. I feel like, in a weird way, like this is also kind of sex driven by her, because she only cared about saving the aliens because she thought she could save Mickey.
Okay.
But I mean, also it's like, I guess it's kind of emotional because she also does care about Mickey besides just the sex part of it. Mm-hmm. There is actual feelings there.
There is like they try to show that because how she's just like, I don't care what Mickey it is. I just want Mickey, my Mickey that I fell in love with, which was obviously the first one, I'm guessing, when he arrived at the ship.
Yeah.
But literally, like I said, I don't know. I guess that love at first sight thing isn't just really my kind of thing. I just like the relationship to develop, and then to us to see like their feelings actually like show on screen, because I feel like it's just not there in this movie. It's just like lust. Like, I don't know, because I feel like, okay, I'm not a girl, so I guess if a girl watches this, and if you're to this point, please comment this down below. If your boyfriend has a clone, are you having a threesome with your boyfriend? I guess that's an easy yes, right?
I know from our perspective,
me, I'm not having sex with myself.
we both like, oh hell no, because it was really weird. Because the Mickey 17 was on the same way.
Yeah,
when he was like, can I have some privacy?
He was going with it, but you could see that he was definitely.
He was only down for the part that it was like with just Nasha making out with him or whatever, and he
18 started cradling.
And then I was like, bro, what the heck is going on? And it was like, I don't know. Like, that was super weird. And I mean, I can get it. Like, where she did make a fair point where she was like, you'd be going wild if you had two of me.
Like I was thinking, like,
so,
yeah, it was like, because, like, in my position, since I was like, I'm the guy, I'm thinking about how the guy is in that situation. He is the clone, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I get it both ways, you know, like, where the girl would obviously, but it's also like, at the same time, if it was switched and the girl was watching the boyfriend have two of hers, it would
probably be the same thing for
a little
her
bit,
as
yeah.
well.
So, yeah, it was just a weird, like, I don't know. I think that played on a little too long for me, at least.
Also, like, give me this, girls. Like, would you So this happens. Mickey 17 walks in. Mickey 18 gets out of the shower. She's like, so it's true? And then they almost have a threesome like right away. So,
Yeah, that was weird as heck.
So are you doing it like right away? Like maybe if they stay and you're like, but...
This is like, Mickey 18's probably like 5 hours now. And then like...
Which I'm also kind of like shocked that like... So you know how in that scene when they walked up the stairs?
Yeah.
And then someone came down the stairs? I'm surprised, like, so Mickey 18 walked up the stairs, then it was like a couple seconds passed. Someone walked down the stairs. I was like, aren't they not going to be like, how you get down here?
Yeah.
Like, not notice that before?
Yeah, they definitely somehow had like the perfect scenario with never running into each other until the time they did eventually run into each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't in the ship that
long. But it was like,
yeah,
I don't know if that was also kind of like a concept, like director-wise, like kind of showing you how like no one really noticed Mickey.
Also like, no one really cares about Mickey except Nisha. And I would low-key like kind of say Kai, because she has
Kai obviously had some,
Mickey somewhat. But everyone else just literally like a pile of meat. That's what he is. Even someone who's supposed to be his best friend is like, you'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what? And it's just crazy. Because even if Devin was a clone, I don't think I would want him to suffer even more.
Appreciate it. I would save you as well.
But I feel like that's all my mixed. I definitely want to go talk about the bad. Because I got a little bit to say.
Yeah, I feel like I got rest probably all bad. There's no other really mix for me. Yeah, I think the rest is pretty all bad.
Alrighty, so we're just going to go to the bad. So yeah, one bad thing that I just want to start it off with right away. Nasha. So, like, they get arrested, kind of, and they're in this prison, which this prison is just them in, like, dog
cages. Yeah, no, it's actually kind of wild, dude.
But if you ever watched, like, the 100, it's, like, the compound, basically. But I hope Devin doesn't know what I'm talking about. I watched too many things. But, so, basically, Mickey explains how the aliens didn't kill him. And then Nasha's just like, oh, so the aliens are good guys then. That's all it took.
Yeah, and then she's like...
Now she just cares about these aliens.
Yeah. It was like, there's no... Like, all it was is just like, hey, they didn't eat me. And then... Oh, okay, they're good. We should save them.
Yeah. That basically was
completely,
like, oh, so they were never the
smallest thing, complete character twist.
Yeah. And just another things with the aliens... that scientific person that made the translator, she literally watched Mickey 17 mimic a sound for 1 second and then got that idea and then got it perfect within how many?
It was like...
she perfected it.
I was expecting it to kind of be like she was like, this is the trial run right here. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting the big translating scene to be kind of like... Okay, it would be kind of translated-ish. So, kind of like Google Translate's not even the perfect whenever you're trying to type out words or whatever and switch it.
It was that way, but, like...
It just is, like...
It's too perfect.
Everything made way too much sense where it's, like... where I feel like it was just more of, like, also kind of broken English...
Yeah, because they were still, like...
the aliens.
Speaking our sentences, while I feel like if it was the aliens, it would just be words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it would have been
like death.
Death.
Which they did say, but they also had a whole sentence.
Oh, yeah, it was like how your brain's going to explode, your eyeballs are going to pop.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, I feel like it'd be more of like, there should definitely have been like a little bit more of a mix-up somewhere.
Yeah, and also, like Devin was literally just saying how Google Translate, like, different words have completely different meanings in different cultures.
Yeah.
So how do we know how to, like, signify their culture meaning and then turn it into ours? And that, like, I bet we could do it, like, in this universe, in this movie. But in that short amount of time, even with their technology, they can't even perfect making meat in a laboratory yet.
Yeah, there's like pretty much no real food either, and you can perfectly translate one out of like a couple sounds from a
and like
baby alien as well.
Yeah, in this world, it didn't even seem like the Earth was in a shit place or it was ending. It was like they're just on a conquest, you know?
Yeah.
They're just exploring. And which I was also like, why would you choose to leave Earth? Like, I don't know if they knew what planet they were going to, but it was an ice planet. Like, the whole planet is full of snow. Who would want to live there?
It was just
bro?
like if Antarctica was like a planet.
Yeah,
so.
like no seasons. Like, yeah, we get the cold here, but we also get warm.
Yeah, it's just like complete snowstorm all the time.
Yeah.
I guess except for towards the end when it did say 6 months later. It was kind of sunny outside.
Yeah, they were outside.
But it was also just like snow.
So I guess they do. I guess they are like they are in the middle of settling, so that does make a little sense. But even though if they are in the middle of settling, how do they get a perfect translator then? If they're
Yeah,
doing
I think
everything? If they can't even figure out basic needs of survival for the future.
Yeah, they perfectly understood that they needed to bring the baby back in order, and then it was like one eye for an eye essentially. But it was like where you guys kill one of us, we're gonna kill one of you.
They had this super sad. It wasn't sad in the movie. They didn't make it sad, but it was like honestly sad.
Yeah.
Because like these 5 agents like pulled out their guns and just blew it to the bits. Which I don't blame the agents because obviously it looks.
You have no idea
looks like
what
the
it,
aliens
yeah.
attacking him because it literally made.
Like on his face,
That tongue got down to the back of his throat.
Because then he literally spits out whatever, and
Well, because they got long tongues too. If you don't know what they look like, they're interesting. They're kind of cute, I would say too.
They're low-key hard.
Like the babies are definitely cute. But literally just how she switched on the aliens that quick. I feel like there should have been at least more things that involved the aliens being good guys. Like, if Mickey 17 spent a little more time with the aliens when he was stranded.
Yeah.
And then, like, they actually, like, kind of took care of him while he was healing. And then he came back.
It was essentially like a maybe 12-hour time period.
Yeah, but then
of just him getting pushed to a cave.
Yeah, he was just hurt, and then they were just dragging him out of the cave.
Yeah, and then they kind of
which I'm guessing that's how they get out, because like the way he got in, he fell through the ice. So I guess they had to take him like all the way their way.
Yeah.
And obviously saved his life, which yet again, he technically did not know that at the time. So like Nasha put that in there, which I feel like Mickey should have been the one to realize they were the good guys and not Nasha.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, so they saved you, so they're good. Like,
yeah, because better than him just being like thinking he was just rotten meat.
Yeah,
because Mickey 17 obviously had like a lot of like self-confidence issues and esteem and stuff like that, where he was just convinced because like they said in the movie, like it's just like his body is just a bunch of like old chicken bones and like all their human waste. It's just pretty much put back together into making him. So he was like, oh, I am just like a pile of waste.
Which is why they called him like why Mark Ruffalo was like, oh, they didn't eat you because you didn't taste good enough. You're just a pile of garbage. Like he basically is actually a pile of garbage. Which I don't know if that would mess with my mental health in some capacity.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm not actually human anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I would kind of mess up with my mind. But
I'm like,
obviously, if I'm already dying,
yeah, it's like there's no, you can't get out of it anyways. No matter what you do. Well, you'd have to just duplicate.
I mean, yeah, Mickey eventually gets out of it, but he has to take down the evil real quick.
Yeah.
And obviously, they had this weird daydream sequence about the sauce, which I'm guessing has a meaning behind it, but I really didn't pinpoint what.
Towards the end,
like the sauce had it, like where he was like, because like where she showed up.
Yeah.
Because like the whole movie, Mark Ruffalo's wife or Kenneth's wife is only talking about sauce.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
what I'm saying. There definitely has to be like a meaning behind that.
Hopefully there's a meaning, but if there's not, that was just stupidest. Like that was so dumb. I was like, that was like one thing in the theater. I was like, dude, she says sauce. Something about sauce one more time.
Maybe it was like using resources like for something stupid. Because like maybe they could use that tail to actually grow food.
Yeah, she literally when they get
cut it off. This could make some good sauce.
And then puts like a little blender. It just like it was just with water.
It was just blood, basically.
Blood. It was just like blood and water. Like it's like taste the sauce.
And then we got a weird daydream where like she was cloning Mark Ruffalo's character.
Where he did kind of explain where he's like having nightmares, and then he would wake up and he'd be like, well, what would Mickey 18 do?
He didn't explain that, like, you were confused, but then he started voicing over the scene.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. Because then he was like, what would Mickey 18 do? And then
like,
he pressed the button.
Yeah, I was super confused because they were like...
I obviously get that meaning of him pressing the button because throughout this whole movie, he has this problem. Because he thought with this one press of the button just, like, ruined his whole life. That's what he was thinking the whole time.
Which I did have... This is, like, kind of random, and where we were talking about how we made jokes for... Kind of talking where this is. I know I couldn't think of anything during the movie earlier, but this is now that we talked about the button. I did make the joke because in the movie it's Nasha talking. She's like now kind of like the leader or something, like the head of like the I forget.
She's basically what Mark Ruffalo was, basically like
the
leader of this quest. Or
yeah, and she becomes that, and then like she's like, all right, now we're gonna explode the cloning machine. And I thought I just turned to Jacob. I thought it was funny that like I was like, he's gonna hit the button, like a piece is gonna come, like chop her head off or something like that.
Yeah, it's like how he thought the red button actually entered his mother. Just like it wouldn't have a meaning at all, and it would actually just like he hit the red button and entered her too.
Yeah,
that would be pretty funny.
Because Loki,
it went with the theme, but
it wasn't like the voiceovers it was giving us. It kind of like you could sense it. Kind of felt like he was just gonna like hit the red button and it was just gonna like catch like a blood splatter or something like that in his face or whatever. Yeah. And he just like, and then.
But yeah, just Nasha kind of basically had a emotion or mood control switch. Like like halfway through the movie, she was just kind of a completely new person. She was just this caring person for Mickey, and then just kind of became more of a... I'm trying to think of, like, put the words in my mind, but it's not all coming together. My mind's not all put together, so that kind of makes sense. But, I don't know. Like, Nasha was just there. So was Timu. I wish they kind of gave side characters more time, or even if they didn't give them more time, give them more something to do. Because, like, Timu only had his scene where he was, like, about to kill Mickey 17 in the prison.
Yeah.
But that was literally, like... It was a good villain move, I guess, but he was the reason Mickey's in that position.
Yeah.
So...
Because Mickey's just a good guy.
Yeah, this is
and he was just
fault.
trusting his friend.
Yeah, like he explained all at the beginning, like Timu wanted to start this business, and Timu was the one that borrowed the money from this freaking big like gangster guy.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to kill him to get out of it.
Yeah, but then Nash did have a good point. Like, what makes you think even if you just do this, like that would get it over with?
Yeah. Exactly.
Something would happen to him still.
No, that's what I mean, because they were both a part of it, and Timu especially was the one that borrowed the money, so I feel like he would still get his ending. And I really didn't like his ending. How he
he just set free essentially.
Yeah, he killed somebody that tried to kill him, and then he was set free. I kind of wish he had a bad ending.
I wish he would have like still been at least locked in jail for the rest of his life somehow. Like
but other than wishing Kai was the main love interest and died of Nasha, I kind of don't really have anything other bad to say about this movie, except the aliens could have been used a little more because they just show up every year and then it's just the end of the movie. I
get that.
And it's just like, because they're barely in the movie, they kind of have to explain it to us more than show it to us.
Yeah.
And I kind of really don't like when movies take it that, because I don't know, I just like when movies they show you so you can like your mind can just be thinking about things like, oh, it could mean this, but then it also mean this. Like people could have different interpretations of what it's trying to think. But when you explain something to the audience, it kind of stops that, because like, oh, that's what's happening.
Yeah. One other thing I wish I would have mentioned before this segment, because I don't think it's definitely not a bad, and I think it might have been more of a good for me, which I wish I would have highlighted earlier in this podcast, was I definitely think they had really good use of like flashbacks and like kind of timed them good during the story, where it's like at first you're like, how are they even like, what's even leading to them and going to this outer space mission, and then it cuts to them getting like where like they're running from the loan shark essentially, and like this whole because this dude doesn't care about the money essentially. He literally wants you to fail because he wants to torture you.
So basically, he'll just give you whatever money you want because he probably knows that you're not gonna pay him back in the time he needs.
Yeah.
So and he has pleasure in literally killing the people that owes him.
Yeah, because what they did was like show them what was gonna happen to him, and then which I'm assuming probably happens to everybody, and like they're pretty much begging him while he's just casually eating dinner too. It's like, can I have more time?
I know what you're about to bring up, or maybe if you don't, I'll bring it up. But continue speaking because it also like it appears 2 different times in the movies. It appears in the flashback and also like a different. You just want me to?
Sure, I guess
I was just gonna say, how in the hell did Timu get the freaking camera chainsaw from Earth?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Maybe like because even if like the loan shark's associate would have gave it, he didn't know who the loan shark's associate was. So no way that he just gave him the.
That was also at his door. Like I understand the note at his door. There's no way they just had the equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that too. I didn't think about it honestly until you said that. But
because when he pulled it out, I was like, "What the heck?"
I actually did. That's the one thing I didn't put 2 and 2 together in the movie. But yeah, it was like they had the whole situation where so back it was like they cut off the dude's foot in front of him and everything. I'm assuming it probably goes way off more and more like after that. But they kind of cut back to the show, and they also kind of cut to where like Mark Ruffalo's character was.
A failing politician.
Very failing. Like he failed his last 2 elections, and then he was. Like it was weird. He twisted him being against the cloning into being for it when getting his mission.
I also do want to say I'm so glad that you brought up Mark Ruffalo because before I was about to end the bad segment, I did not really mess with Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of his character.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, everyone talks, like, kind of normal. Obviously, Mickey kind of has a wimpy voice.
Yeah, like, I understand that because he has multiple...
He talks like this. Like, without the country accent a little bit. That's just my Midwestern tone. I'm from Indiana, so do apologize the country tone. But he's just, like, kind of, like, trying to portray a crazy character that didn't really fit into this universe.
Yeah.
Like, him and his wife are kind of
Him and his
over
wife,
the top.
I did not like. I they were kind of technically needed for the movie.
For the villains. They were the
but, like,
villains.
just, I don't know. I was honestly, I'm getting annoyed, like, about their characters. Just how the way they were acting. I've said this, Mark Ruffalo should not act unless it's the Hulk. That's it. Like, Mark Ruffalo should not be able to act unless it's the Hulk. So... That's
a hot take. No, I don't even know how people feel about Mark Ruffalo's acting. Really,
I've got no clue.
I don't even know if it's a hot take, but he said it there first, guys.
you heard it here.
But no, he was just over the top, while everyone was just kind of like normal to me. Like Steven Yeun, he was just like a villain I could see easily one of us turning into. Like if we were stuck on a spaceship, like I could see a human doing what he does, because people go into debt all the time and all that stuff about like they get money from loan sharks and can't pay it back all the time.
Like,
and then obviously Kai has emotions. Just those villains were just, I guess it is kind of good to have a crazy villain, just more than like a crazy side character to me anyways. But I also feel like Mark Ruffalo's threat really wasn't there. Because, like, in the movie, you saw him, like, he was making himself kind of seem this big threat.
But he had to get pushed by his wife as well. Like
he was kind of like, his wife was kind of like his handler. Like,
yeah.
I feel like he was the spokesman. She was behind the scenes, like, what was happening.
Yeah, where he was just like, am I doing a really good job or whatever? Yeah. And it's like, and then she's like, yeah. But then, like, she was kind of the one who was... We mentioned it earlier in the podcast, the whole, like, sex ban, where she's, like, mentioned the thing. He's like, should I do that? Yeah. He's like, yes, come on strong or whatever, and about this whole thing.
Well, because he actually says, I'm going to take this to the board to have sexual activity banned. And then everyone starts booing, and then that's when he's like, you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah.
And then the wife is like, yes, this needs to be done, basically. But doesn't take away from the movie entirely, except some scenes where Mark Ruffalo's just in his room, literally, even with his normal voice, low voice, still talking like you know, I'm like
Yeah, I just got
adding that gravitas to his voice.
Yeah, I just got bugged with the whole like, I don't know. He also like the like, I don't even know what it's called, like his like where he has
you
like
puck your lip up.
yeah. I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I was just being picky, I guess, but like I don't know. He definitely was
And
trying
honestly,
to persuade, like play the character, like he was trying to dramatize the character way too much, where it just ruined the character itself.
And then obviously you just got that crazy wife with her sauce.
Yeah, I don't know. I really, if there is a meaning, and you guys know, let us know.
Yeah, there has
But
to be.
there's gotta be a
Like,
meaning.
even in the daydream, he picks up the sauce, and then he's about to taste it, but then he's like, "What would Mickey 18 do?" Which that also like that too, because it shows like Mickey 17. He's not letting people walk over him anymore. Like
Yeah, he's changed because
he
of that
looks at
comment.
himself as a person.
Because he's like, wait, that's me as well. That's a part of me. I have in me as well. I just haven't really shown it before.
Exactly. Like he knew that was a part of him, but Mickey 18 just helped him realize, like, oh, I can do this. He was like the clone. I guess, yeah, he was just like the clone to get Mickey back to himself.
Yeah,
Like,
and like the confidence.
When I
and
say
the
like, yeah, back to himself, I mean like even before the space. I mean like before he.
Yeah, and he kind of realized
red
not
button.
everything. This isn't just a big punishment where he just thought like the whole space trip and being expandable was just him punishment for like the smallest things, like how he experimented on a frog in fourth grade or something on science
But then he
class.
realizes like just everything can go wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
not
just
your
life.
fault. Life throws crazy things at you, and it's not all your fault. And like, there's even a scene where Mickey's like 18 is still like, "Oh, you're still on that? You know the red button did nothing."
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Now I'm glad you brought up Mark Ruffalo so I can talk about how bad he was. Anything else you had problem with this movie?
No, I don't really think I had any more problems with it. Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm got no more bad to say.
All right, so welcome back to our real score. We're basically just our ranking, or not ranking. I'm an idiot. No. Our rating for now might change through the process.
Yeah, I feel like we're trying to.
I do kind of like it right now, especially the little niche element Devin added. So let's just get in my real score. It's kind of hard because I rated Paddington 3 an 85.5 something.
Yeah.
But I feel like I enjoyed Mickey 17 better. But I guess I'm going to put Mickey 17 at an 89.13. So lower on the 89% scale.
For me, I think so. I've rated Paddington really high because I think I was looking at it like a non-perspective of just me as a person.
Yeah.
I think just as a film enjoyer.
So was I, but now...
Now I say it.
I'm thinking about, like, from now on, I'm probably just going to, like, how I feel about the movie straight up.
Yeah, I feel like if...
like I said... my real score.
Yeah, this is, like, I guess we kind of... Like we said, this is also a big trial and error kind of thing right now. So... The 91 is maybe fraudulent for me,
Okay.
but I've got to live with that one, and I got to wear it. I've got to wear it. But for me, I'm thinking, Mickey 17 is it was a good first watch for me.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking,
and I feel like I could definitely enjoy a second watch.
I feel like for me, an 85 plus is I can watch the movie and just be invested in it again. I just feel like I'm not there with the movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like I could watch this in like a background again or something like that, or like I have this big problem where I'm also on my phone while I watch stuff. That's like, and boy, I feel like this is a movie I can watch in the background, be on my phone, scroll on Instagram, whatever it may be. So for me, I think it would be more of a 78.38%.
Okay.
That's my real score.
Okay. I don't know. I think really Robert Pattinson's Mickey really carries the movie for me. I really enjoyed his character. I know Devin thinking about making a joke about talking about how Robert Pattinson's actually a bad actor, but I think he does an incredible job in this movie.
Yeah,
For real, like not jokes aside, he does an incredible job.
Originally I was gonna play this really bad devil's advocate and be like, oh yeah, it's like I can't believe they gave him a role after his role of like I think I was gonna even overplay it and be like Jacob from Twilight, and just overplay it. But I was originally just gonna be like, yeah, it's like we were gonna have a whole bit about it, but I just didn't really fit it in.
By the way, guys, he said Jacob on purpose wrong. Just like
Sorry, I knew he was Edward. But yeah, I was just gonna to completely go off the walls, hot take, just to fire people up. I guess it was gonna be like, oh yeah, I can't believe they gave him, and then he was gonna be like, well, he also played Batman in the new Batman movie. I'm like, probably the worst Batman I've watched. I was just gonna overplay it.
Try to get some reactions.
So yeah, maybe we'll have to plan some out. I guess if you made it this long, you'll know maybe some more will be coming.
And
but
like we said, this is like our early days. We only started 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago, it's only 4 days essentially too. It's not like we're not pumping these out daily. This is like we watch a movie every week, come and do this. So it's like
I am going to try to put more effort into it. Put down notes so we can more flow the conversation easier and not have as more empty spaces or just us or buts.
But I feel like this one is honestly a big improvement. At least for sure the last one.
Oh yeah, we had really nothing to say about it.
Paddington didn't really have anything too bad. I guess I guess the 91 wasn't too bad, but there's also if I'm going my real score instead of a Rotten Tomato where they are actual critics where they just are film enjoyers, but this is our real score.
Yeah, that's
So I get it now. I guess that's what you guys should expect more of now of a rating system going on.
Yeah, as you could just tell, now that it's just ours. Our specific ratings, me and Devin's can be completely different. It's already 11-point difference. He said 70, I said
8. Yeah,
8, 9, so.
Yeah, we haven't had nothing where we're completely exactly opposite. Where I wasn't it's a 13.
Yeah, that's why I haven't had really anything where we like the movie on the same level. Because obviously, me and Devin have our different things we like. Because I'm guessing I obviously like more horror movies than you do. Because I'm just a horror movie fan. I'm a person that enjoys watching people get gutted on TV. That may seem sick to me, but I enjoy it. I've
kind of gotten a bit more on horror movies since probably around freshman. Probably honestly one of our first ever movie we ever watched was Halloween. I think it's one of the newest. Well, not the newest one now, but at the time I forgot what it was. I think it's just Halloween. Halloween.
Are you talking about?
Or we were supposed to. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We actually didn't watch that. Jacob was stuck helping family out. Our first movie we were supposed to watch was Halloween.
I forget the first movie.
2018, I believe it was, maybe
Yeah, but I watched that with family, so I know it wasn't that.
But I'm just I don't know what our first movie was, but I know. But whatever that movie.
I want to say Abigail. To be honest, I know that started our movie binge.
We watched Deadpool 2 together.
And Love and Thunder.
So yeah. But
no, those were with groups. I'm trying to think of me and Devin just watching a movie by ourselves.
Yeah, I actually have no clue what that one is.
Like I said, probably Abby. Oh, Escape Room!
Oh my god, that one.
Free Guy. Which one? Was it Free Guy or Escape Room? It was one of the two that summer.
But we definitely. I feel like if we gotta do a story time on one of our channels, and this one, yours or mine, and our Escape Room,
we would make the most boring stories, the most exciting story ever.
It was our summer. It was the summer of COVID, right? Or
it was
after?
Oh yeah, we would have had to been friends. So,
it was 2021.
No, yeah, it would have had to been after COVID because me and Dad weren't even friends before COVID.
Hold on, let me look up. Escape Room 2 release date?
Yeah. I also feel like we talked about a lot of topics about in this video.
Yeah, July 16, 2021. So the summer of 2021, me and Jacob did kind of go on a couple movies where we watched a couple.
We watched Free Guy and Escape Room.
And then you guys watched Spiral that year, but I didn't watch Spiral.
Yeah, he wasn't old enough. He was a little baby.
Because you had to be like 17. I was still 16.
Yeah, and everyone else was 17.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. Because they also were ID checking all of us, too. And I was like, oh, darn it.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. It's like...
And when you're, like, they don't even ID me half of the time when I go in for a rated R movie. With just you.
Yeah. Okay, so it was Escape Room, because Free Guy was August.
Okay, so Escape Room was probably the first movie we watched together.
Yeah, so probably since then was definitely where my real kick of, like, watching more horror movies came along. Having younger siblings, it was, like, harder
I
to...
guess, yeah.
But, yeah, so I'm
I
definitely
was
getting
the
up
youngest,
there. Now, growing up, I've definitely watched more, and I've been more into it. Like, I've watched all the Halloween movies after I first started watching them, which I feel like I only might miss, like, the first 2 original movies.
You watched all of them?
I've watched ever since that one, whatever that was, like 20...
So you watched the original now?
Yeah, I need to I think I still need to watch the original. But yeah, I've watched more and more horror movies, and definitely, I caught up on all the Terrifier movies now. I feel like I've got a better for horror movies. He might still like them more than I do.
I'm saying, yeah, just rating wise.
But yeah, our ratings probably like it's not
like I know
it's not gonna be
horror
like,
movie is my favorite genre, so
yeah.
like, it's probably like if it's good, it's gonna be high. While Devin might put it like high, but still on the low.
Yeah, where like his yeah.
So yeah, kind of a longer episode today.
Definitely for sure.
I mean,
this one's probably more. This one's definitely more of an easier watch than probably our Civil War along. Like where I feel like we've tried to do a little bit better than this one.
And we did talk about a lot of things and what the movie dives into, and it's
and kind of we kind of did it more in depth as much as we possibly could.
Which I definitely want to keep on doing because that's basically how you review movies and how you really get to the bottom of the meaning and everything. Because obviously a good movie is always going to have a theme, a good theme, and everything. Yeah. A good story always needs one. But that is the end of this episode, guys. Come back next week to watch probably a longer episode as we will review the entirety of season 3 of Invincible as it finally ends, which I am so hyped. I love Invincible, top tier show. Stephen Yeun's also on that. Mark Grayson, Invincible. You already know who he is. Come back for that if you like Invincible. I know you guys do because who doesn't like Invincible? I literally Rotten Tomatoes season 3 literally has 100% right now. I don't.
If you complain about the animation, you just need to shut up. Honestly,
yeah,
as well.
If it has a good story, it comes out year after year. And
because the same people who are complaining about the animation, the same people who are complaining about the time difference. So it's like you can't have both. Yeah,
so they're trying to get the great story elements, and they're trying to get the fans what they want. So they're gonna focus more on the story. And then, obviously, they're going to focus a lot on their animation, but they can just do as much as they can. But, like, I feel like they show just more episodes, more love. Like, I really hope this Conquest episode's freaking animated to shit.
I definitely feel like it is. Like, we were talking about it the other day, or, like, not the other day, like, earlier, where, like, the title card was, like, 1 second. Yeah. On the last episode. Like, and usually the title card's a big thing.
The War of Marks, it was literally, like, hate to be invincible. And then, boom, it was done.
Yeah, so
if you watch like Powerplexes, it was like one of his Invincible title cards, but that was like it. But yeah, come back next week to watch that, and then every week on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Sure, video comes out. So yeah, have a great time until then, guys, and
thanks for watching.
I'll see you in the comments below.